Hi, welcome back to my channel, Playing with KP. I'm Kimmy. Today we are going to do my 2022 planner lineup video, and we're also going to quickly do a recap of what I was planning for 2021. I've got them separated into baskets, so I'm going to move these off the screen and then we will go through these kind of one at a time. We're going to start with 2021 just because it makes sense to kind of go chronologically. And we are going to be doing this kind of out of order compared to how I filmed my 2021, just because there's one item that overlaps, and so it just makes sense to use that as our bridging point. First off is the Carrie L meal planner. This one I used a little bit. Let's see, it might be best to view from the side. So I had a couple of months where I did use it. This was actually partially used prior to 2021, and as you can see, I definitely did not finish it. There is still a whole bunch in here, and just realistically, I think it's too much work for me. I tend to neglect pretty much anything that's not in my main planner. So I will keep this, and should I feel the need to, I will definitely pull this out again. But realistically speaking, this is definitely not a high contender to be used in 2022. Along with this, I had a recipe book. I don't have it out because I've put it away and it's just totally buried. I can't get to it. That one, I will insert a screenshot from my video before of the recipe book. It's got some okay recipes in it. It's just way too much work. I don't have a dishwasher, and so to do all of that prep work in one day took 95% of my day, and then I had to go through and do all the dishes for it, and it was just not a good system. It's too much work for me, and I think the theory is that it wouldn't be, but it was. And then to go along with that, I felt like a lot of the recipes had fish, and I do not personally consume any sort of seafood, and so again, it kind of made it a flop because those weeks I would not be able to incorporate any of that into our eating habits. There was one spinach recipe at the back, and I did really enjoy it, but it was also fairly simple and not worth keeping the whole book out and, on a constant use just for that one recipe. The theory was you put a little bit of oil in the bottom of a pan, you throw your spinach in the pot, and then you put the lid on and I think simmer it for 5 or 10 minutes, and then when it's all wilted, you pull it off and squeeze some lemon over it. So pretty basic. It was delicious, and I'm happy I found that recipe, but totally not worth keeping the big chunky recipe book around. So next is the Budget Mom's Budget by Paycheck workbook. I really liked the theory of this, and I was excited to go into the year with this, but it was just not going to work. On the back of this was our budget categories. You can see that I put little tabs up on the top. These are for the beginning pages of prep work and things that I should have referenced regularly. Some of them I did do check in with on a regular basis, but most of them I did not, at least in terms of the trackers for coloring and sinking funds and all of that. That's just not really up my alley. I used this pretty consistently until about August, and then it fell off. And even when I say consistently, I mean I looked at it every single month, but it might only be once in a month, and that's just not reasonable to be able to continue checking in. So it's just, I gave it a good go, and it did not really work for our lifestyle. So even September was pretty much entirely blank, nothing done there. So I gave it a good go. This is definitely not going to be what I'm using in 2022. Good lesson learned though. Erin Condren Life Planner. This was the, I wish I knew what pattern this was. I don't remember. The Layers, I think it's called. So this one is 18 months. It went from July of 2020 all the way through December of 2021. We can see based off of my bookmark though that I Actually, I think I took the bookmark out because it looks like I used it up through, I think I used it up through June. So pretty much where my bookmark is. Essentially, I only used 2/3 of this. It was getting just too big for me, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be having some life changes going on. So I did decide, although my intention at the beginning of the year was to make it all the way through, I do really like having my planners on a calendar year. It just seemed like a good idea to switch that out in July. So I used this for 6 months. This Flora planner is the one that I finished up 2021 with. This is the Flora, and I got the matching cover. I love this thing. It's got the beautiful rose gold coil, which I pretty much get every year because it's my favorite one. But I think it just matches so nicely. This is where we are at. This is my bookmark for the week. I did use it the last 6 months of July. And I am going to continue. I only got the 12 months, so it does end in June. I'm excited. I love this thing. For the second half of the year, I am very much contemplating, I'm sorry, that glare is probably terrible. I hope there's no glare with this page. We'll let you look at that one. And these are sticky notes. Side note, I really like sticky notes. These ones I use all the time. These ones I hardly ever use, but these are fantastic. I'm really enjoying them. Which brings me, I guess, to topic number 2 for the second half of the year. For 2022, July to December, I think I will try out the Amplify planner. I'm not sure if I will go for the horizontal or the vertical. I am a vertical planner. That's just my preference 99.9% of the time. I tried a horizontal briefly a couple years ago and I just could not get into it. There was not enough space. So we will see. My concern with the vertical Amplify is there's so many lines on the weekly page that I'm pretty sure I will get overwhelmed because I used a plum paper that was vertical lined, and same thing there. It was too many lines. I just couldn't handle it. So I might choose to go horizontal just from that aspect. I don't know. So stay tuned to see how that goes. But yeah, this is my favorite planner I've ever used. I've been using Erin Condren since 2015 because it just always seems to work. I can get everything in here. It's got those bonus pages between the months, which makes it wonderful because I can put any sort of weird lists I need and notes on the other page, and it doesn't interfere too much with my weekly planning, and it's fairly easy to go back and reference because normally I'm listing for that period of time and I know what season things happened in if I need to go back and reference it. For example, we are going on a trip in the next couple of weeks and I have a packing list going on this page for February because I'm currently filming in February. So that's kind of how I use this one. This is what I'm using for a budget book. Like I said, the budget by paycheck just wasn't working for me. Frankly, I've never had like a consistent system that I go back to and that works for me. So I kind of wanted to go the DIY route, and then that way I can try things out and see what works for me. I love this pattern. I normally, when I was a kid, I used to love the cow notebooks, like the regular composition ones that are black and white. I don't know, I call them cow notebooks. So again, I don't want to go into too much for personal reasons. This I had started last year, I think, maybe towards the end of the year. I don't know how old this was, but I had some prior information that did not associate with 2022 budget planning. So I just put a big paper clip over those. And then I've got a couple different tabs. I've got my annual charges and subscriptions. This was my most used page from the Budget by Paycheck workbook. So I added just an updated one on there. And then I keep track monthly and weekly. And so this is currently for February because that's the month we're in. And I don't feel the need to have like each month tabbed, I could, and I may or may not go back to do that. But as of right now, we are not far enough along that just referencing this month is fine. And then if I have to flip back 4 or 5 pages to get to the month prior, just for the sake of comparing numbers, I can do that pretty easily. Last on the list is this growth book from, I don't even know what the brand is. This is like their main verse that's on all of their stuff. It's Colossians 2:7. I've got a sticky note that I guess I used half of. Oh, here we go, Growth Roots Co. So I did not fill in my name, and it's basically got different sections. I'm using this. I don't want to flip through too closely. In the end, it's got some pages for different prayers and things like that. You can see little tabs on the side for January and February. And so the theory is you can tab each of your months, and then as you go throughout the year, you can go back and reference different, stages of your faith journey, whether it's struggles or, really big, like, aha moments, for lack of a better phrase. So this is what I'm using. I don't know, I've never really been super consistent with these things, but it basically just has some dot grid, and there's some random quotes in the middle. Bible verses, I guess, would be more accurate. There's some random Bible verses in the middle, and I've just sort of been, using stickers and washi tape and taking notes of things. I got the idea of this notebook from Lindsay Decor's Bible Stack. She did that a couple weeks ago, and I just really liked this one and all of her ideas. So you can definitely tell that I've got some inspiration from her on that. And it's also a lot bigger than I expected. When she was holding hers up, it looked, I don't know, how do I explain this? I thought it would be this size, and it is definitely not. It's even kind of bigger than my planner. So 7x9 is my favorite size ever. That's just what I'm used to. And it is much taller than that. So if you are interested, I thought I was going to easily be running out of pages in something like this size. And so far, I am not very far through it at all. So we will see. Like I said earlier, I am not good in general with having too many books. I've tried goal planners in the past, and those always fall off because, again, it's too much work. I think this is a pretty good setup, though. I like doing this one so far because I enjoy stickers, and frankly, I just need the motivation. A full notebook at the end of the year sounds great. So going to stick to this, and then budgeting, I just can't fit within my regular planner. It would just never fit. It's too much. And then my planner that has everything else. So I think this is a pretty good lineup. That's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful setup for what you are using in 2022, and I will keep you guys posted. See you in the next video. Bye! Up next was the Budget Mom's Budget by Paycheck workbook. Budget planner, I don't really know what she calls it besides just that it's the Budget by Paycheck. Oh yeah, here we go. So it is considered a workbook. And this is the bridge between 2021 and 2022. And so I think the dailies with the Passion Plan, that's not the right word, with the Amplify Planner. Did I say Passion Planner earlier? I'm sorry guys, I'm a mess. For 2022, July to June. Oh my gosh. I thought it would be like an Erin Condren. What are these things? I use their products so much you would think I know the answer to this. I think this is their softbound notebook.